In this video, I will discuss how to record professionally on your iPhone for free using a third-party app, because the built-in camera doesn't allow you to control these features manually like frame rate, ISO, shutter speed and white balance. And these are the 4 basic pillars that give your video a professional look and allow you to control the exposure of your video. Without manual control, you might see gradual color shift in your video while recording, which can look unprofessional and can ruin your video quality. In this clip, you will observe that the face color is changing constantly as I change the scene lighting in my room, which I don't want. This is why we need to control it manually using a third-party app. Just to clarify, I'm recording this whole video using iPhone 11 and a third-party app called Black Magic from DaVinci. Now some of you might know DaVinci as a well-known organization which provides software both for smartphone and PC. This video is not sponsored from DaVinci, so you can trust my words. Although there are alternative apps like Filmic Pro and other, but they are paid, and that's why I'm using Black Magic, which allows me to control all the settings that I needed. Now first thing first, what the frame rate do in the video? In simple term, it refers to the frame capture in 1 second, which create the video. The higher the frame rate, the smoother the video. The lower the frame rate and you might notice some gap within frames. But which frame rate is good actually? The higher or the lower? Now the answer depends what type of video you want to create. For example, if you want to create a slow motion out of your normal video, then definitely go with 60 fps or 120 fps, which will allow you to slow down that video in the editing to maintain that 30 fps. For example, if you recorded normal video with 60 fps, it will allow you to slow it down 1 or 2 times and you will still have 30 fps per second, and which will create the smooth motion. And if you record it in 120 fps, it means you can further slow it down to 1 or 4 times and you will still have 30 fps per second. Anything more than 24 fps will create a good smooth result. For normal videos like YouTube tutorial, the recommended fps is 24, which is Hollywood standard because that's what our eyes can see in natural real life. And if we lower it down below 24 fps, you will see some lag within the frames. Next we have ISO and shutter speed. Both of these together because these 2 pillars control the exposure of your video. In video, ISO create brightness or darkness without adding actual light in the scene. You might wonder, then why do we need extra lighting like the pro YouTuber use in their video? This is because ISO add or introduce noise in your video. For instance, increasing ISO will add brightness to your scene, but it will also add noise in your image, which we don't want to have, because it will create such an unprofessional look in the video. Adding some light in the scene and decreasing the ISO will give you the clear and crispy video quality. Currently I'm using ISO 320, which give me the best result that I want. Ideally the lower ISO with some lighting in the scene will create a good result. Next we have shutter speed. In video recording, shutter speed means how much each frame is exposed to light in a fraction of a second. If the shutter speed is too low, the image will be brighter. If the shutter speed is high, the image will be darker. The shutter speed doesn't only change the brightness or exposure, it also creates motion blur. So in order to create an optimal motion blur which our eyes can see in the real world, there is a rule which is double the shutter speed to the FPS. Mean if you are recording in 24 FPS, double of this would be 48 shutter speed, mean 1/48, which will create a motion blur that our eyes can see in the real life. Next we have white balance, which control the image temperature or the video temperature, providing you either very cool or very warm image if you do not control it manually. Now to understand this, first we need to understand Kelvin, which is the unit in which we measure the lighting temperature. For example, daylight is 5600 Kelvin. The candle or firelight is around 2000 Kelvin. The LED light which we normally use in our room are around 2800 Kelvin, which create a warm light. The higher the Kelvin number, the cooler the light. The lower the Kelvin, the warmer the light. However, in camera white balance control, it's the opposite. For example, if you are recording in daylight 5600 Kelvin light, and if your white balance is 5600 Kelvin as well, it will create a natural image. However, if you increase the white balance, your image will get warmer, and if you reduce the white balance, the image will get cooler. And that is why we need to understand Kelvin. For example, I'm using this key light in 5600 Kelvin, and that is why I have set the Kelvin of white balance to 5600 as well. You can manipulate this white balance to get the optimal result for different scene. Generally, matching the lighting with the white balance will produce a good result. In summary, let me quickly repeat all of these elements. Frame rate is used for slow motion or normal videos. If you want to edit your video in the future and you want to slow it down, then you would ideally record in higher FPS, which will allow you then to slow down that video, maintaining the 30 FPS. ISO and shutter speed are used to control the exposure of video. Higher ISO provide a brighter image with noise in the video, and lower ISO create a darker image with no noise in the video. Shutter speed is again used for brightness and darkness, and it also creates a motion blur in the video. White balance change the color temperature of the video. That's it for now guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you think it's helpful, and I will see you in next one. Until that, take care and bye.